welcome to Meet the Creator. Today I'm here with two very amazing people that are former members of the YouTube channel with around 8 million subscribers, VAT19, as best friends to create a channel called Randomonium. So John and Danny, how are you guys?
Hey, what's
Great,
up?
man.
Doing well.
Doing awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, so I guess we might as well get straight into the interview. How did you both meet?
Oh, that's a good question. Fifth grade.
Good.
In fifth grade, I moved here. I had moved all around before that, but I moved here, which is near St. Louis, Missouri, so pretty much the middle of the United States. And I was the new kid, and I didn't know anybody, including Danny. And so unbeknownst to me, I took interest in this girl who was in our grade, and her name was Jessica. And so I thought she was cute, and I tried to, befriend her and see if she would date me or whatever that means in fifth grade. And I had no idea, but apparently she was interested. She had been talking to Danny before I moved here. So
Interested is an oversell. She'd given me the all right, yeah, let's talk, let's think about this. I wanted her to be my girlfriend or whatever. And then mid thinking about it, John moves to town, all suave, dark, and handsome, and
so I
he forgot about me.
Wow.
Yeah, but the first time we started hanging out was probably a couple years later. That was fifth grade, and then a couple years later, around seventh grade, I just remember we were in each other's class, and then I walked home, he walked home, moving completely different ways. But I was just like, all right, I'll just walk your way. It's not that big of a neighborhood. So walked home, hung out at his house for a little bit, met his parents. They gave me some snacks, probably, I don't know. And this is back before cell phones were really a thing. So this was just leaving school, and then it gets dark, and your parents are wondering where you're at. So had to wander home. And the biggest thing I remember was when I was like, oh no, I'm going to be late, and I'm rushing home. And they had this mud room where the shoes, where you take your shoes off when you enter the house. I had to reach down to tie my shoes and put them on, and I just farted right in front of John's dad. And just meeting him, and it was the most embarrassing thing in the world.
I forgot.
And he was so nice about it. He was totally John's dad about it. He's like, oh, all right, well, I guess you got to get going. He was so nice.
Wow.
I totally forgot about that.
So why did you guys end up sticking together?
That's actually a pretty easy question. I mean, if you think about I don't know what Danny was gonna say, but I was gonna say we just started creating things together. I think ever since we started hanging out, we would always be making something. It started with music. Really, we started playing in a band when we were right around 7th or 8th grade, right when we started hanging out. Danny played guitar, I played drums. We had some other people. Joey, who was in VAT19, he
Joey
was
Graves.
guitarist and singer. And then Joey's cousin was also our bass player. So and he works with us now too. So we were all this kind of close group of friends playing music together, and we played in a band all through high school. And honestly, that was probably what we wanted to do most with our life. We wanted to be professional musicians for a long time.
Because we actually went to different high schools. John went to the local Catholic school, and I went to the public school. And we just kind of always I don't know if there was ever a conscious decision to be well, let's remain friends forever. It was never one of those best friend packs. It was we always had a project to do together. So we were always wanted to create, whether it was the music or when we were going to school, we would get jobs together. So there's always something we were just enjoyed being around each other. So we would just invite each other along. Oh, I'm working at this pool. You should be a lifeguard too. To come
being together.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, John, a question for you specifically. Why and how did you end up joining VAT19?
Yeah, so looking back on it, it seems like such a like winning the lottery or something, because or a lightning strike, just so one in a million. Because when I graduated, Danny and I went to college together, so like we said before, we did everything together, job, school. We graduated with the same degree, and I specialized in making videos, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with a video degree. Back in 2008, YouTube wasn't really a thing. I mean, it was around, but it wasn't really a viable career path for anyone. People were just putting goofy videos up on YouTube. And so no one really believed that that could be a career. So I thought that I would have to move to Hollywood to start making movies. And I was almost ready to do that, but then I was dating this girl, so I stayed here local, and I wanted to stay with her for a while, and got this little job at this only one of the few video places in St. Louis, which is where we are. It's not a video production city. There are not very many jobs in that field, and so I just took this little job. Was every day kind of like, where am I? So I'm at this little building where they have a big sound stage, big sound studio, but they don't have very many people that work here, and they're trying to sell these goofy little quirky products.
Yeah.
You know, like a fireplace scented candle, and a USB missile launcher, and a Rubik's Cube alarm clock, and like all this stuff that was just so goofy and didn't really wasn't very practical. And so I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll try this job for a few years and see. I think I told myself maybe 1 year. I'll try this job for 1 year, do the most I can with it, and then I'll get out of here and probably go to Hollywood. Well, in that short amount of time, I really fell in love with my girlfriend. We ended up getting married, of course. And I really made the most out of my time at VAT19. I put everything I could into those videos that I was making. And I thought, hey, if I'm going to be doing this job, I could do a really, really cool, I've got the freedom to do anything I want. So I started making music videos, and I started making just some really off-the-wall kind of fun commercials for these quirky products. And it became really fun. So then I brought my friends with me, like Joey and eventually Danny, and I stayed there.
Wow.
Yeah, because at the time that he started, I thought that was just the weirdest job to take. I was like, oh man, he's going to be looking for a job in a year. No, he was not.
Like working at Amazon, except the Amazon is 1,000 times different and doesn't sell products like a PlayStation 5 or something like that.
Right.
They sell the world's tiniest PlayStation 5 that you can't use, really. It's a cool concept in some way.
Yeah,
it
is.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was fun to watch it grow. It changed so much from when John started. And to his credit, like I think he put a lot of fun in his personality in those videos, and that started to inform the products too. As people started being attracted to the videos, more and more cool and unique products would show up too, because it was just a fun place and it was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
So, John, again, what were some ups and downs of creating content at VAT19?
Some of the ups, for sure, are that there was just a lot of freedom. And I did give all credit to our boss, Jamie, because he put a lot of trust in me and then the small team that was building over the years of people we just could make anything we wanted. I mean, within reason. He was obviously having oversight over everything we made, but if we wanted to, make a weird music video, like putting weeks and weeks of effort into this music video for a jumbo stick-it pad. That was our first music video. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I think
or like just these quirky off-the-wall characters and weird ideas. He was always down to entertain the ideas. So that is huge, because that just opened up so many doors. We just didn't have any creative limits. Secondly, he really started to trust me and the people that I knew, like Danny and like Joey, and a guy who's kind of more behind the scenes, who's a writer there, still there, named Gus, who's also a good friend of ours. So he trusted me to recommend people to bring onto the team that I thought would be good, and it worked out. All of them worked out.
That's good. That's great. So what, like, for
some
Danny,
of the downsides?
Oh yeah.
I'll say one big downside was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. It's okay. Sorry. I think we might be a little lag. So I think one of the downsides is that we had to work. It was a retail store at its core, so we had to work during the heavy retail season between Thanksgiving in the United States and Christmas, which is like Black Friday to Christmas, which is about a month, and it's just crazy retail time. And so during that time, all of us in the whole building, no matter if we did answering phone calls, customer service or if we made videos, we each had to take our turn working in the warehouse and picking products off the shelves and shipping them out in boxes every year. So it was hard work and not exactly enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it kind of brought us all together. If everyone in the building had to do it, we had to kind of just suck it up and be a team.
So, Danny, what did you actually manage doing while you weren't working at VAT19? Since, I think there was a few-year gap until you joined with John.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to get me on pretty early on, actually. When John started, there was like another guy that made videos there, and he was leaving to his wife was moving for, I think, school or something, and I had just lost my job, and this was the peak of the Great Recession. So I was pumped to know somebody who had a job that would offer me one because I was not having any luck finding one. And Jamie talked to me, and at the time they weren't really taking in products fast enough, and John was outpacing the product intake with videos. So he's like, "Well, until we sort that problem out, we're not replacing that person yet because we'll run out of products for videos." And I was like, "Okay." And I wound up, I got offered a job in Chicago to open an Apple store, to work at an Apple store as a genius at the Genius Bar. That seemed just awesome and a ton of fun. I loved Chicago, and I just was at a point in my life where I was like, "Okay, I can get up and move." So said goodbye and moved to Chicago for a few years. And right after I moved, Jamie opened up another position. And so John came to Chicago and was like, "Hey, man, do you want to come work for me?" And I'm like, "Oh, are you kidding me? I just moved."
Yeah, I just
you want to come work with me? And there's positions going to open up. Yeah. And so I talked to Jamie on the phone for a while. And John was right. Yeah, he did trust John a lot. He was like, "John tells me I don't have to interview anybody if I hire you. And I really don't like hiring people because it's such a hard process, and you don't know, if you know somebody's going to be good. So if I trust John, and I do, he goes, I know I'm going to trust you. So there's no problem with that. So what's it going to take?" And it just didn't work out because I had just taken a great job. Apple's an awesome company to work for. That's actually the tattoo that I have. I got it the week we opened the Apple Store. It's the command key on the keyboard. I love that job. So it didn't work out, and that job became Joey's job, actually. And then Joey worked there for a while, and then before he hired Eric, he talked to me again. He was like, "Well, I'm not going to hire another friend just in case, they all put together, or that they all, I want to get don't make people feel awkward with these little friend groups. Want to hire more diverse groups of people, so it's a unique team and all this stuff." So I was like, "Okay." So he hires Josh and Eric, and then eventually became me. So I just worked at Apple for years. I became a lead genius there. I ran the Apple Store, the Genius Bar at an Apple Store for a while, and that was just tons and tons of fun. And I'd probably still be doing that now if it just didn't work out. Finally Jamie, I'd interviewed and talked to him in person, and he's like, "Look, I don't have to interview you again. It's just let's just make this work." And we both wanted to make it happen, and it worked out, and it was fun. And he just gave me all that freedom to do a lot of things. So that was great.
Yeah, so to me, it may be different to many other people, but I feel like you, John, Joey, all those people, I think you guys were the face of VAT19. You kind of, you built what it was, in my eyes.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you guys were the ones that kept content, well, everyone did, but you guys were kind of the main people that really put everything together, all the videos. The editors, of course, they were great, but you guys really built it up.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I think that probably just comes through because we've been friends our whole life, so it was just really easy to work together because it really was a huge team.
So, Danny, again, when you joined VAT19, was it pretty hard to settle in, or was it just like that, done and dusted?
I was pretty overwhelmed at first because I hadn't really worked professionally in any art form after college. It was just in theory. I did some design work, and I'd never worked with professional lights. The only thing I'd done was teach myself 3-point lighting with some lights that I made myself at the hardware store, a lighting rig. Just kind of kept shooting sketch comedy on my own and doing stuff for fun. And Adam Huber had worked on so many sets. He'd been working as a freelancer in the film industry in St. Louis for a while, and we got hired right at the same time, and each other in that respect. But I mean, I 100% wouldn't have figured that out without him. Kind of holding my hand and like, what's this called? Do you know what it's for? Like helping me out with like the professional stuff. But other than that, like the team and everybody, it was all my friends, you know, and people I'd seen on the internet. And I'm not shy, so I was pretty, I kind of poked fun and teased people right away. Like I would prank Eric and Jamie, and Joey thought that was weird. People don't do that.
So, both of you, like, Jamie's always marketed as the evil boss. Was he really like that, or was he like a normal person?
He's a normal man. But yeah, Jamie's a normal guy. I mean, like just like any work environment, everybody has like that boss employee thing, and you might with anybody you work with. I think we've all had gripes with everybody, coworker, boss, or whatever. But a normal guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He gives us, like I said, he gives us a lot of freedom.
Well,
he's.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say he's. It was different because he's our boss, so he's not your friend, and that's not his responsibility to like be the friend of everyone in real life. But he was kind, and he took care of people. And like I said, I think one of the greatest things that he did, and one of the things I'm most thankful for, is the support that he gave to his team to just do what they do best and be creative in their own way. So he wasn't like telling us what videos to make. I mean, he was always involved and offered his opinion, and he would offer changes and suggestions. But if we wanted to go nuts and make a weird video, he would let us do that within reason. And I think that's the mark of a good boss. So that, yeah, he was never like, we were never friends in terms of like going out and getting drinks. Like, our families didn't hang out really and stuff just because, he was our boss. But, maybe there's room for someday now that we're not boss and employees, maybe now we can hang out. So it's just kind of that dynamic,
So
yeah, he was always, I think, really good too at recognizing people's strength and kind of like when somebody was good at something, just kind of letting them at least.
So when you were working at VAT19, did you if you were comfortable answering this, did you believe that they paid you a sustainable amount of money?
Yeah. I mean, like most jobs, you work your way up a bit, and so. Like I said a little while ago, I started working at VAT19 right out of college, so I had no experience working on a film set or anything, and so that's a huge trust factor that Jamie had for me. But because of that, I started off making not a lot of money. Also, it was 2008, so it was a long time ago. But as I proved myself valuable there and started consistently doing good work and bringing on other people and stuff, then with that comes pay raises. And I never felt like I was underpaid.
That's good.
I wasn't ever making like a ton of money and that's the other misconception with YouTubers is that they just all make tons and tons of money and live in huge mansions and stuff, and that's just totally not true. I lived a very kind of middle class American life, which is, I have a family and I can support them and stuff, and I wasn't by any means struggling, but I also wasn't just throwing money everywhere like Logan Paul or something. So
did Jamie pay you guys money from YouTube or money from the warehouse or the website or just combined?
It's kind of just, as far as I know, it's kind of just all combined to all the money that the company would make. So from sales of the products in the warehouse and from the YouTube ad revenue and sponsorships, and we never really saw the financials of the company, which is it's okay. That was his even as the boss. But
so what were your main jobs at VAT19?
Main job, well, my technical title when I was hired was writer/producer, which sounds kind of weird. By the end of things, I wasn't really doing that at all. But I mean, basically, when I got hired, I was the video guy. There was nobody else there. Well, another guy shortly left after I started. So I was the only person there on the video team when I started, and I was writing the scripts and shooting the video, lighting in the studio, handling the products, acting in the videos, and then taking that footage and editing. I was doing the entire thing by myself for the first at least year or two.
Wow.
Until Joey came on in like 2010. And then, so it was the two of us, and Jamie would help with all this. So yeah, not to say that I was the only one, because Jamie would always help me. Like, he would be an assistant in a way, and he taught me a lot. But then yeah, me and Joey, and then Eric and Josh came on, and then eventually Adam and Adam and Danny. And so each of us.
Yeah, I was actually hired more as a producer for more closer to Kara's role. But then Josh McNew had quit. And that's when they hired Adam and kind of switched it up to be more of just a traditional director.
So, for you specifically, Danny, did ADHD make it tough to work at Van 19?
ADHD can make a lot of things tough. But no, I think it's kind of the perfect environment for it. A lot of people had it there, actually.
Wow.
Adam did. We were chaos together, but that's a place where it literally is outside of the box products, man. That was kind of that was a really great place. Yeah, I was encouraged to just run with ideas. Once Jamie kind of realized that was the way my brain worked, it was just always kind of ticking and throwing away ideas. He would always he would always listen to my ideas and be intrigued. He wouldn't always say yes, but he'd listen a lot, which is great.
Speaking of your ideas, how did you come up with the idea of Hidden in Plain Sight?
I just did a video on my YouTube channel about this. But the longer story is me and John, we had a long carpool to work every day, and we'd ride together. We'd always talk about stuff, and I was just sharing with him, like right before we got to work, that the building was so huge. I go, the place is just a maze. Joey was at work yesterday all day, and it wasn't until after lunch that Jamie asked if he was at work today. Like, is Joey at work today? I'm like, yeah, he's been here all day. You haven't seen him? Because it was just a maze and it was huge. So I was like, you could probably hide all day. And we'd already kind of established at that point my rule of making videos, which was, what do you want to do for free and find a way to get paid to do it? I think John had probably said something to me along the lines of, there's your ultimate thing to do and get paid to do it, which is nothing, just hide all day.
Yeah.
And so we just talked about it for a while until we kind of came up with it as to the tying it to the can safe for a product, because it was a product that was hiding your valuables in plain.
We generally would have to, because we were selling products as the store, Vat 19, we would always try to make our video ideas somehow connect to a product.
Yeah.
And that goes back all the way to the beginning when I started. So like, so we were trying to figure out a way to make Hidden in Plain Sight, this idea of Danny hiding from his boss all day. How do we make that connect to the store and sell a product? Well, we had already, just recently started selling these products that were little cans of, they look like cans of food or like shaving cream, and you would just hide them in your house, but they actually were empty, and you could hide valuables in them. And so we're like, man, that's perfect. Just make that connection, and then you've got a video idea. So that was it.
You dragged that on for like 18 episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't
yeah.
Like every single episode, like to me it felt like the one series at Vat 19 that like wasn't always tied to a product, because it originally started from can safes. Yeah. Eventually, probably after 2 or 3 episodes of mentioning the can safes, maybe it was just that first one. I don't even know. After a very short period of time, we were like, you know what? People get it. They just want to see us. They want to see us hide. They don't even necessarily need to tie it into a product. And
yeah,
you kind of would get the tie-in to the products in the store, because Jamie would run around the building and he'd pick up products.
Stuff.
Yeah, the poking stick, and he would poke things, and you'd get a sense of a lot of different products all throughout one video. Instead of it just being about one product, it would be about the store, seeing kind of behind the scenes of the store. So I think it still kind of worked.
How do you both, like, when you were both at Vat 19, how did you, like, both come up with your ideas? Like, I know, Danny, you had an idea book. I don't know if that was valid at VAT 19, but I know you had a book, or John wrote down all your bad ideas.
That's right.
Yeah. It was just always ongoing. We just always were just constantly spitting out ideas.
Yeah, and lots of different ways of doing it too. I think Danny was just like, just kind of vomiting ideas out all the time, like just anything that would pop into his head, just no filter. And then sometimes that's the best way to do it, is not to, not to shut it down. A lot of times, all of us will have ideas and we'll think about it, process it too much in our own heads, and decide not to even like share it because we don't think it'll work. Whereas, Danny's method might be more like, let's just say this and then see if it works or not. And a lot of times it might not work, but somebody else might pick it up and run with it. Versus my usual go-to brainstorm was something with puns. So like I would always come up with these like, wordplay ideas, and that would give me ideas. So like the Murphy's Law Enforcement music video where we're riding around on unicycles. That came about because I was like, I don't know. Murphy's Law is a common thing in America. I don't know if that's a thing in Australia or not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Murphy's Law is like, it's like a made up. It's not even a real thing, but it's a funny joke saying like, if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So like the old classic Murphy's Law thing is like, if you drop your buttered toast, it will fall butter side down on the ground. So like it's just going to be ruined. It could, something that should be 50-50. Well, Murphy's Law says that it's going to be the bad one. Like that's just like this weird old, like, I don't know, saying. So if that's Murphy's Law, then I thought, well, if that truly was a law, then there would have to be Murphy's Law enforcement. Somebody enforcing the laws of Murphy. So that's what got my brain going. So just that wordplay got my brain going. And same with the photo bomb squad. So I like took the idea of like photo bomb and then bomb squad, and I like, that sounds kind of funny together. What would the photo bomb squad be? And then same with the log jam. A lot of the music videos came about from me just like having fun with puns. So the log jam music video where we're lumberjacks and singing like Boys to Men. So yeah, it's just different creative ways of coming up with ideas. Danny was unafraid to just say whatever popped into his head, and I would usually, for whatever reason, come up with some kind of wordplay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say for me, like really just the idea of like that no bad ideas in a brainstorm thing, just kind of how I live my life, and the shower thoughts kind of idea that if you stop thinking about trying to come up with ideas and just let them come out when they come out. I was always trying to be like, let's cancel the brainstorm meetings. We don't need them. That's actually how we came up with the giant dirt cake. I was trying to tell Jamie that I'm like, you just come up with ideas with anywhere. Wherever inspiration hits you. And he's like, oh yeah, come up with something. I was like, all right. Those giant worms we sell? Well, what if we made a dirt cake to scale and then we got in it? He was like, all right, yep, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that. But we still had brainstorm meetings because not everybody works like me.
So, for both of you, what do you think were your favorite like series and commercial was that you both filmed there?
Ooh.
Good question.
Yeah.
Hidden in Plain Sight was definitely one of my favorite series. We started doing more series.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your video, but you in the black screen, are you a content creator yourself? And do you like this series so far? If you do, then you can now apply to be on this series, Meet the Creator. If you're an up-and-coming content creator or you've been a content creator for years, just apply down in the description and maybe you'll be interviewed on the next episode. Back to the video.
At the end of our time there, we didn't really do a lot of series for many years. In the beginning, everything was just kind of new and original every time we'd make a new video. Except for, I guess, like characters had runs. There would be like a series, just a character would do multiple appearances.
Yeah, and that's why I was really excited to do the movie, was because like we got to bring all those characters back because it was at a time where we didn't use them as often.
Yeah.
And that was like my VAT 19. Everybody always like, oh, I miss the OGs or I miss this era. Like, everybody has their era of VAT 19. What was it like when you were watching it, and for when I was watching it, was watching all these characters that Eric was coming up with, and John was coming up with, and Joey was coming up with. So to get to finally come up with one of my own was always fun.
Yeah,
So the movie was just a
Hans.
blast. I wouldn't call it a series. Yeah.
Yeah, like Chris Kadar,
Yeah.
that guy that
Yeah.
yells colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
So good. Those were some really fun videos to shoot. The Kadabra series were so fun. I still think one of my favorite videos is an old one, but the idea came up like the idea came from our carpool. Like Danny mentioned a minute ago, we had this long carpool to work every day, and so we'd see all kinds of things like driving to work, and it was always pretty early in the morning. So there'd be a lot of people commuting to work by themselves in their cars and, kind of oblivious to everyone else around them on the road. And because it was early and because they were oblivious, like a lot of times people would do these yawns in their cars that were just like full body yawn, like, they'd be driving like that. And so like, because they were like in the lane next to you with their windows up, you obviously couldn't hear anything. So our minds started going like, that kind of looks like
Someone's
yelling at the top of
screaming.
your lungs, but on mute, so like you can't hear anything, but like it looks like somebody's just like screaming because they're just like. So we had this whole video concept where we're like, yawning looks like yelling, and we would just film people yawning and then just replace it with a scream, and that was so fun to make. I think it turned out really funny, and I just love that it came up from just like noticing something in real life and being like, this would make a funny sketch.
Yeah, I remember seeing that video. I think I watched it a few weeks ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So both of you, like, obviously you left VAT19 to continue Randomonium, but like, was that your really main reason leaving, or were you just kind of had enough?
Yeah. No, I mean, no hard feelings really. Like we genuinely just left because we had the opportunity, and Randomonium is a part of that. But what we're going to be doing in the future and where that grows is like kind of the biggest reason I think I wanted to go is just there's no ceiling when it's our own project. It's whatever we want to do. It's whatever direction we want to go. I missed being in leadership at Apple, and wanted to start building a team of my own.
Yeah, and there's so many reasons. We mentioned a few of them in a couple of our different videos, but I think one of the ones that we did say is just about how much, going back to the commute. I mean, we just mentioned like there was this long commute every day to VAT19 because our families lived on across the river, almost like an hour away from VAT19.
Wow.
And it's basically through St. Louis. You have to like travel through the main part of the city, and there's not an easy way to get there without going through a lot of traffic, and it just takes like an hour. So that's one way, then an hour home. So we're missing a lot of time with our new kid. Like a lot of us had young kids, and so we thought, if we can build something, we know how to make videos. We think we can start a business. We don't know how to do that, but we think we're going to try. If we can pull all this together, we can have something that's a lot closer to home, and spend a lot more time with our families. And so our new studio is, I think my commute now is about 8 minutes. So I drive about 8 minutes down the road to Randomonium, and Danny might even be closer. So.
Yeah, mine's it's about 10 minutes usually. I think I've hit 8 minutes before if you don't hit any lights. But I maybe I take the bike a lot, so it's about 13 minutes by bike maybe.
Yeah, so just a lot more family time.
So both of you with Randomonium, you've obviously partnered with FAO Schwartz and Sharper Image. When did you end up actually doing that?
That was the catalyst for us leaving. Really, was that arrangement? Was they were looking for some work, and John and I had gone out to California and met with there's like a parent company that owns both of those companies. And they were having some issue with some of their video work, and we had some ideas, and we all just got along really well with the brand and the people who ran it, and they kind of were inspired by our story and our vision. We were intrigued and inspired by theirs, and came up with a sponsorship deal that made it kind of worth saying like, hey, this isn't everything we need, but close.
So, like, has Randomonium been up to your expectations?
That is, I mean, it's yeses and nos. I think the biggest thing is the freedom, like we've talked about. Like, we had the creative freedom, like I said, at Bat 19, but there's even a higher ceiling. There's a limitless ceiling whenever you're able to do whatever you want to do. We don't have to sell products, like that was always kind of the thing at Bat 19 is we could come up with these wild ideas, but we always had to be selling products, which, that's fine. It was part of the job. But with Bat 19, with Randomonium doing our own thing, we can take a break if we want to. We can focus on this other thing. We can, make videos for this kind of service or industry or this kind of brand. It doesn't always have to be selling a product. But at the heart of it, we do like making commercials. That's kind of our expertise. Yeah. And so we still kind of want to build that brand around that. Now, I mean, that's like, it's all been good in that sense, the freedom of it. But, the views aren't always there. Like, just because we had a lot of success at Bat 19 and we left and started our own thing, I mean, it just goes to show that does not translate into immediate success on YouTube. So we had a lot of videos that had that did really well, and we've had a lot of videos that have really struggled to do well. And it's just a matter of making videos that people want to see. And so I don't know. What were you gonna say, Danny?
I was going to say we've always been pretty good at adapting to change, even at Bat 19, kind of shifting with what was happening. And we said when we left, like, we had to be prepared for never being as big as we were at Bat 19 again. That can't be the reason we wanted to leave, was to start another Bat 19 or to be huge. I mean, to be fair, when we left, there was only 7 million. I know you said 8 million earlier, but we left at about 7. So they've achieved 1 million more since we left. And that's incredible. And we know that's not what we're not trying to do the exact same thing we did there, and we're still kind of finding our footing. And I think running the business end of it has been really challenging. And we've learned a lot there. That's taken up more time, but we've made those decisions for good reasons. We like John said, we've been able to take. But you always find out that there's always things you don't know and things you need to learn. So while we were taking a break to focus on some other ends of the business that needed to be taken care of, there were awesome opportunities that we loved. Taking that break from YouTube was during a pivotal time when YouTube was pivoting from a shorts or to a different short strategy. And now we've had to kind of reassess, and I think we've talked about this within the Discord community in my YouTube channel with you, and that we're kind of compartmentalizing and moving shows around and content around to adapt to the ever-changing YouTube, to make sure we can always meet the audience where they're at and not drive for 1 million views or not drive for 1 million subscribers, but really try to put the content out there that we want to make for the audience where they're at, no matter how big they are. So that's a hard thing to switch from swinging for the fences for viral views to like a targeted strategy around what we want to do as a company and what we value as a company and a brand. It's tough. So ups and downs always, but it's super rewarding even in the downs.
So let's say that Randomonium completes all of its sets and everything, and basically the whole building is set up and all your things are all set up. Where would you say you see Randomonium 3 years from then? If everything was all going well, 3 years from then, where do you think you would see Randomonium?
Well, that's a good question. We probably haven't thought that far in the future, to be honest with you, which is
man.
Good thing. We should be thinking that far in the future.
I think the biggest stuff.
One thing that's cool is that
so much,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but don't knock yourself too much, John, because it's or us too much for not thinking about it, because we've had to pivot so many times since leaving and adjust, so it's hard to stand up. But go ahead with what you were gonna say too.
I was just gonna say that one great thing is that we have already found a building that we own. Well, we don't quite own it yet. It's a much better situation than we're in now. As of the last 4 or 5 months, we're in a building that is we're turning into a studio that is a great home for us for the next 10, maybe even 20 years. It's a place that we can grow into and have a small team there. So I'm not at all worried about like physically needing more space. Our previous studio location, when we left at 19, we were starting Randomonium in like this 4th floor of an office building.
Yeah.
And it was just like not a great situation.
Really
That
nice.
honestly, yeah. Oh, it gave me anxiety just thinking like, can we make it here? Like, this isn't really a studio. The neighbors up and down and to the sides of us are noisy all the time, which makes it hard to make videos. And we got to pay this high rent, and like anytime we have to bring equipment, we have to haul it up the elevator. It was stressful, and it made it seem like I don't know if this is sustainable. But now that we're in a place that I think we can really grow into, I feel great about that. We have a rock solid partnership with FAO Schwartz and Sharper Image, so I only see good things growing with that and with Target. And yeah, we are working with the manager now. We just signed on with the manager, and he's going to be hopefully working with the two of us and with Randomonium to really kind of find us a lot more deals and opportunities for us to take this even further. So I think 3 years from now, we're going to have a bigger team, and we're going to be doing even more videos.
That's what I was going to say too. Yeah, the team aspect of it. I don't know where we're going to be or what we're going to be doing. We even said this. We had to sit down and have a meeting as we were talking about moving content off of Randomonium, and even like saying, okay, let's pause this. This isn't the best thing for what's going on. It's not helping, even though we want to and we like it. Let's not like get rid of it. So I don't know. We just say like, what if we had to cancel Randomonium one day? That might happen. And that's fine. We will adapt as to what we want to do. We don't feel locked down to this one thing, and we'll adapt. But it's the team behind it and the vision behind what we want to be doing, which is just making awesome content and fostering a creative place in our hometown with awesome people who want to grow, and we want to help them be where they're going to be. Or where they want to be. So who knows what goes there, but we'll be doing it together. Yeah, and John talking about the space too, man. And we chatted about this in the live stream the other day, man. It was a ton of work, but Friday I just sent a video out. John was off, and I sent a video out to the whole team, just kind of finally taking a big deep breath with the construction. The studio took way too long, but it's amazing. We're so excited to shoot there. Like I turned around 2 different product shots with 2 different locations within a 20-minute time period. And I'm just texting it to Jeff who's in the other room. I'm like, look, I switched this over and set this up right away. Look how fast that was. We're really excited to do things our way and come up with new ways to do things too.
Yeah.
So, now moving away from like kind of work questions, I'd say like more of like a life questions now. I'd say, where did you like you guys? I might as well not ask that. You already told me where you guys have grown up, your school, but your first jobs, I've heard that you guys were like lifeguards, really.
Yeah,
really, 100%.
It was the greatest job for a first job. I don't know. I highly recommend it for anybody because
so good.
Yeah, it's first of all, I did I started in the summer. Like you can lifeguard all year round if you're at the right pool, but summertime. It's warm. You get to sit outside, and it's a lot of just taking a dip in the pool, getting like concession stand snacks. It's like fairly easy work, and you got to be prepared for like the worst, but that rarely ever happens. Yeah. And you're mostly just chilling out by the pool, so it's great.
Yeah. So,
and we did it as an excuse. We went to a summer camp together as kids, and you age out of summer camp eventually, and they're like, well, the easiest way to be a counselor is a lifeguard. We always need lifeguards. We're like, let's do that. So we got the certificates, never went to summer camp to be lifeguards, just kind of joined a swimming pool that my cousin worked at, and that's what we did for a long time.
Yep.
Wow. What if you guys are into sort of video games, what would your favorite video game be, or what games do you like?
Danny's much more of the gamer than I am.
I am, but me and John both played a lot of Halo in college, and I still have it, and I've been introducing my kids to it. And honestly, I play a ton of Fortnite right now. Me and my kids, and my whole family, we love being a squad.
Yeah.
But I'd still say Halo, and that'd be John's answer probably too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm playing. My kids are just now at the age where they're getting into video games. My oldest is 7.
True.
And they're getting into Mario Kart, which I'm like, yeah, this was what I played when I was a kid, so I'm getting back into Mario Kart a little bit. But yeah, I think Halo is still probably my jam. Halo 2 and 3. We played those a lot in college.
Oh yeah, we did.
So, out of like all of the sort of, this is probably going to start a debate, but out of all of these sort of consoles, do you think that your favorite would be PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, mobile, or virtual reality?
Hmm.
Oh man, I do you have a strong opinion, John?
Um, I don't have a strong opinion for myself. I would only probably say Nintendo right now, just because it brings my kids a lot of joy, and like as a family, we play a lot of Nintendo games together. So that's my only. It's a weak reason, but that's it.
Yeah, yeah, we've had them. I've had them all. My we do have a Nintendo, and I love it for that reason. So like, I love all of them for different reasons. My main thing I play on is the Xbox, but that's just because that's what I've played on for so long. That's like what I was never a big gamer until college, and then the Xbox, the 360 came out, and I got that, and I was just like into it forever after that. So I just kind of got used to it, and it's more of a comfort thing. But I was just telling John and Jeff the other day they've yet to play it. I brought it to work on Friday, but we didn't have time, me and Jeff, to play. Uh, Beat Saber is the most fun game I've ever played in my entire life. We have a VR headset at our house. We got that for our kids during COVID too, and holy moly,
It's great.
it's so fun. The VR is just unreal. I think it's kind of at its infancy still, but it's probably going to be the best thing just because you get to actually get up and dance. Like it does stuff for your mental health. Like get up and dance and have fun, and you leave exhausted, panting. You're like, oh, that was fun. Did you see that? And so I'd probably say VR.
Yeah. Just because I've basically, when I was younger, honestly, like, I was just playing mobile games. But when I got given my PlayStation 4 for like some Christmas, I got for a PlayStation 4, and that honestly just changed everything about me. Like, I went from being the type of guy that would play Angry Birds to the type of guy that would experiment brand new games on a console like Fortnite, all this new, like, everything, a lot of things. It changed me personally, and I just stuck with it. And after a few years, I got my PlayStation 5 for my last birthday. So, and that's my primary console thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I did.
Congrats, those are hard to find around here.
Yeah, it was just very lucky. Just called up one shop. They said, you can put your name down, and we did. And next thing I know it, I now have one next to me. And I used to
I
own
think
couches.
everybody's got that console that they have a memory getting for a gift at some point. Like everybody, like not everybody, but everybody who had a game console. Like I had the PlayStation 2. A lot of people had the Nintendo 64 moment, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So back a little bit. What was and is your daily routine right now? So like, what was your daily routine for VAT-19 and now Randomonium?
At VAT-19, it was kind of cool. The last couple years, since there were several of us that had to carpool so far, I know I've brought that up a bunch of times, but it factored into our schedule a little bit, where we were able to, working with Jamie, we were able to do 4 10-hour days instead of the normal 5 8-hour days.
Wow.
So because of that, we had Mondays off every week, so a 3-day weekend, and so yeah, we go, but that meant we had a 10-hour day on Tuesday through Friday, and so we'd have to get up really early, be at VAT-19 by like 6:30 in the morning, and then we'd work all the way till 5:30. So it was a long
Yeah,
day.
you're gone 12 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah. Now
It's a lot
it's
slower
much,
now.
and we have a lunch hour in there too at VAT-19, but now we get up, and both of us, I think, we take our kids to school. And we roll into to our studio a little bit after that, and every day looks a little bit different because now we're business owners and video directors. So there's a lot of like little things to do, like taxes and finances and all the stuff that we didn't have to deal with before, which is not fun. We'd rather just be making videos all the time. But
Yeah.
it's fun. We get to like hang out with Jeff, our other guy who works with us part time, and then Maddie, our editor from VAT19. She comes in, and so it's a fun little office environment.
So
Yeah,
now that at
yeah, it's a
Randomonium,
lot slower. It's a lot more fun.
like how often do you actually work for Randomonium? Like, is it every day? Is it every few days? Since you have the option, I guess.
Yeah. Even though, we could just take a lot more time off, we choose to do it pretty much the same amount of hours. I mean, and because we own the business, we end up doing probably more hours on top of things. But we try to really like have a good, healthy work-life balance, where we're putting in about the same amount of hours that we did at VAT19,
Yeah.
for Randomonium. So yeah, it's about 8 to 5 every day. So every weekday, and then sometimes we do a
Yeah,
little bit of work on
and
the weekend, but we try not to.
the Randomonium work is kind of like Randomonium being about our commercial making business. Even when we're not doing quote unquote Randomonium, it's all getting kind of intertwined and stuff. So to John's point, like we'll adjust, if things don't go to plan or whatever, and we'll switch over to like the one week Maddie was working on a video for John's channel or a video for my channel, or
Oh.
what depends on what the business is like when we, the past few weeks, I've been like waking up early in the morning and I'll get to the hardware store at 7 a.m. and pick up a bunch of stuff for the sets and then get to work as soon as I can. And then, but now we're about to roll into summertime, which is my favorite time because I don't have to take kids to school and it's a lot slower at home. So my son gets up and he just kind of chills, and then I hop on the bike and get to work at like 7 a.m. I like to get there early and then just relax and kind of plan my day, make sure I didn't miss whatever I did miss from the day before goes on today and keeps me organized. And then just ride the bike home at night. And it's a flexible depending on what we need to do. But I do love being able to take my kids to school and eat breakfast with them in the morning. That's probably the best part.
What would you say, like your dream car was growing up?
Hmm. Dream car.
Mine was the Lamborghini Countach.
Oh yeah, yeah,
hmm
yeah. That was good.
That's the one.
I always liked the McLaren F1.
McLarens, yeah,
Nice.
they're really nice. As I was growing up, I always thought the best cars were the fastest cars, so I thought Lamborghini.
Right.
But now I'm like, I think more that I would like a Tesla instead.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Oh yeah.
they're all electronic, and that's kind of what I've grown up with.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're right. If I was growing up now, I think I would much rather have a Tesla because look at when they raced the quarter mile, Tesla, even the Tesla, Model X or whatever, the SUV, just smokes a Lamborghini.
Yeah,
So it's faster and it's better for the environment. So
you
it's
can
great.
take it into like hyperdrive and
Yeah.
zoom.
Yep.
Oh, give me a Cybertruck any day. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
What were your opinions on all these NFTs and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
I
Go for it, John.
I
You're
personally
more
don't
skilled
have any. I have not bought any NFTs. I don't even have any cryptocurrency personally. It's probably going to be one of those things where I'm like kicking myself for not getting into it now. Sometime down the road, it'll be like, oh yeah, you should have bought some a long time ago. But no, it's not that I'm really afraid of it or like think it's like a fad or something. But I don't know. I just haven't really had the time to really sit down and like figure out exactly how much I want to spend on it or buy or whatever. I've seen a ton of cool. I follow a lot of photographers on Twitter and Instagram, and there's a big NFT community for photography, and I think it's really cool. I haven't bought any, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of admiring from a distance, I guess. I don't have anything against it.
I didn't have much knowledge on it. And then YouTuber named Johnny Harris did a really great video on NFTs, and explained it to me. And while I still don't really have a strong opinion, I really think they're cool, and I love the idea behind it. One of our buddies that we went to college with is huge into it, and so I've heard some people talk about it. And now, I can say after watching that video, I get why they're into it, and I'm really excited about the potential of what it could be and where the technology is going.
Do you have any tips for future YouTubers or content creators? Although your content is rather different to many other things.
Yeah.
I love that YouTube, and now with like TikTok being a major player in video, and then obviously Instagram even. So like there's the field of video is like so much bigger than it has been even just a couple years ago, and the barrier to entry is like nothing. So like anybody can just start making videos, which is awesome. And so I guess I almost feel like I don't even have to say this anymore, because it's almost like people just inherently understand it. But for the longest time, we would say, don't worry about like buying the nicest camera or buying, you know, expensive lights or all that stuff. Sometimes people get caught up in the right equipment before they even start making videos. And yeah, that's definitely not necessary. Like we like to say, gear isn't the point. It's not that gear doesn't matter, because expensive cinema cameras are nice. They do make a really nice looking video, but you don't need that much. You don't need to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get started, to get into it. Gear isn't the point. Like you can make a great video with your phone, and that's all you really need. I mean, so anyway, I think we used to say that a lot and kind of have to sort of convince people of that. Now I think that that's almost understood. Most people get that, because you just pick up your phone and start making a TikTok, and you know you don't need anything better.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all of that.
Yeah.
I actually ran an experiment with YouTube Shorts. I posted 16 YouTube Shorts within like 3 days, and in 2 weeks, about 1 in 4 of the YouTube Shorts got over like 5,000 views. So like
that's awesome.
It's like a big gamble with YouTube Shorts. It's either 0 views or 10,000.
Yeah, that's probably what I would say too. Is just to like never be afraid to try something new, because stuff always surprises you, and it can be fun. Even though it can be frustrating to have to kind of readjust and change what you're going to do, it can be fun to kind of have to always re-evaluate what you're doing, and it keeps you on your toes. I'd say, like, apart from the gear point that John made there, I'd say just focus on the people that you really are inspired by, that do what you want to do at a really high level, and what can you learn from them, and just do your best to be inspired and create.
Do you think personally, my YouTube channel, my Chipsy101 channel, do you think at the rate I'm going that my channel could go far?
Oh yeah, further than mine for sure.
I think that consistency and just showing up and creating good content is like, that's where most of the people just stop or fall off, and they give up before they even really give it a shot. And I think you clearly have a great mind for this. Just even seeing these interview questions and the fact that you're putting all this together. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, so that's amazing. Barely when we started playing music together.
Yeah,
we were a bunch of just not we weren't serious about hardly anything. The fact that you've put this all together and you're thinking this through this well shows that you have the mind for this. And so then you match that with consistency and just showing up and doing the hard work, you know, day after day. You know, at VAT19, I wasn't thinking about views or subscribers or anything for years. Didn't even like think about that or look at that, because that wasn't really part of it. It wasn't really part of my job. I was just there to make videos about products. And then it was almost like one day I kind of looked up and was like, whoa, we have a big following. And that's kind of what you need to do, is you almost need to like bury your head in your work and just like make and make and make and make over and over again. And you'll get really good at it in that process. And people will really learn to find and follow your consistency and find what they like about what you make. And yeah, I think those are some of the biggest keys to success.
I think if like when you think like, oh, is it going to be big? Yeah, for sure. Because that same point, like if you're putting in that work now, it's incredible. The resources and the learning curve, the cost of entry to create. If you have a desire to create, you know, maybe it's not this specific channel, but it's going to be the things that you learn from this channel. Whatever you do on this channel is going to take you to your next place. When I think that where we're at now, like I have to pinch myself some of these moments when we're sitting in this building and we're going, this is our space. You asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't have thought this. 3 years ago. So, I mean, to John's point, if you're this serious about it right now and putting in this much quality effort, as long as you continue that, the sky's the limit, man. Just you have to always wonder what's success look like to you, and then how are you going to continue measure yourself against yourself, because that's the only person you really have to compete against. Because anyone who's been on YouTube long enough will tell you it's not about the views, it's not about the subscribers. It's about what you can do to do what you want to do and make a living doing that. I mean, there's a million ways to do that, and you don't have to have a gold play button to do it.
So, I think we're coming up on our final questions now. Yeah. Did you ever consider leaving VAT19 before thinking of Randomonium?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, kind of. Yeah, this might be kind of scandalous, but no, I mean, I think beyond what I said a little while ago of like, I wasn't sure like if I was ever like when I first started that VAT19, I was like, what am I doing here? I'm gonna give this place 1 year and then I'll get out of here. I didn't fully understand it yet. At those moments, I was thinking about getting out. Glad I stayed with it. But even later, like much later, when Danny and Joey and I were all there, ideas of how we could maybe work part-time over here in the town we live in and part-time at VAT19, and we tried to work out some of these different strategies where we could make it work, like not fully at VAT19, but nothing ever really worked out. Nothing benefited Jamie or us in the right way to make it make sense. So eventually it had to just come down to, either we stay there or we leave there. We couldn't really have like a medium ground, a middle ground. So I mean, there were times. It wasn't like we wanted to leave because we were like mad about something. There were just times when we tried to strategize about a way that we could ease the burdens that we had. For instance, like traveling so far while still working there, and
Well, we wanted a business to, as long as we'd been friends, we'd always been trying to come up with new business ideas to start. But yeah, so we were always like wanting to create a business, so there's always that end of it. But I think the other end too is just like that concept of like you should always be able to kind of question your faith in something, because if it is good, it'll hold up to that. If it's true, if it's good, if it's right, it'll hold up to that questioning. So like you always should be able to ask yourself, is this right for me? You shouldn't be afraid to say that, even if it's something you love, because you don't know where that path's going to take you, and hopefully it takes you down. Yeah, this is right for me. This is good. So no matter what you're doing, you should be able to say like, I might want to walk away. Let's see, does this hold up to this line of questioning? Yeah, great. Stay here.
Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you guys. That was really informative, and I got a lot of answers for the 45 questions I had. So, everyone on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go subscribe to Danny Gula or John Stamm or Stamm, however you want to say it. Randomonium, of course. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video or episode of Meet the Creator.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.